This was exactly how I thought it would be. It was a meh film. There was nothing extraordinary about it, nothing great about it. It wasn't terrible. I'll say that, it wasn't terrible. But it really wasn't good. And straight off the bat, I will say it's one of my least favourite MCU films, probably in the bottom 3 or 4. Maybe the bottom 3. So actually I'll start off with what was good, because that way we can get to what is bad very quickly. The good stuff in this film was Sam Jackson was pretty good in this film. I actually think it's probably my least favourite depiction of Nick Fury overall, but he was pretty solid. He gave a different iteration of the character. They did some things with him I didn't like as well, but he was okay. Ben Mendelsohn I thought was great. I think what he did in the film was great. I just think that the character was written how I would not write a Skrull. I liked how he portrayed the character. He made the film engaging, but I didn't like the way they took the story of the film. Agent Coulson was fine. You know, he was in the film for like maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes overall. Not a lot, but, you know, it was cool seeing a de-aged Phil Coulson. And I will say, Marvel have really perfected at this point the de-aging tech for film. Like, it's crazy how good they've been able to do it. So I have to give them props for that. The CGI in that aspect was incredible. And then you had Ronan, which I don't know why he was marketed to be in the film. Like, he was sort of deemed in the first trailer and second trailer as like this ominous figure who's apparently going to be the villain. And he was in the film for like, he wasn't even physically in the film, I think. Maybe for like 1 minute, a minute and a half. Ronan was in the film. They got Lee Pace to come back as Ronan for a minute and a half. They got Dimjin Hunslau, sorry, I don't know your name fully, to come back as Korath. And it was like, yeah, you got more of Korath, but it was a completely different character. There was no semblance of the same character than what you got in Guardians. So it was a bit of a waste. The Star Force team was pretty shit. They were barely in the film and did really nothing at all. She was apparently very close friends with them and then killed them. You got Monica Rambeau, who I didn't think was that great. I think she acted well in the film, but I didn't like the character for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't like the character, but I did like the... I don't get it. What I didn't really like was... This is just what I didn't like. This was supposed to be the part where I said what I did like. Jude Law was fine. He sort of grabbed your attention when he was on screen, but it was just a bit flat. There was nothing there, and that is just completely epitomized and physicalized with Brie Larson, okay? She was so unspectacular in this film. I'm going to be fair, though. I thought she was going to be even worse. She was not as bad as I thought she was, but she was bad in a different way, right? I thought she was going to be completely bland and plain, how Captain Marvel is in the comics. Very dead. Very, very dead. But for some reason, they completely retconned her and gave her quippy lines 24/7. It's like, you're not Star-Lord, woman. Person. I don't want to sound sexist, I said woman. Alright, I'm defining her as a woman because, well, she's a woman. But, yeah, she's not Star-Lord. She's not that type of character who can have those quips. She never has been. So you just shoehorning this fake character here just to try and make her more likeable, because I'm sure the writers know she really isn't very likeable, so they had to try and make something of her here. And they made her too quippy. She tried to banter back and forth way too much, and it really felt disjointed from the tone occasionally. I mean, some of the editing in this film was also fucking awful. I was watching it and just thinking to myself, how the hell did they actually put this film together? I understand that I'm picky with it, because if something is well edited, I will be amazed at just that alone. But this film was so bad, the continuity was awful. It is absolutely shocking. Oh, another thing I didn't like, fucking Marvel. So they said we're not doing Marvel, Marvel's not in the film. Then they end up doing Marvel. You skip Marvel basically in the MCU and just went straight to Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, turning into Captain Marvel. And then you actually went and made Captain Marvel, a woman anyway. You just said, fuck it, let's just completely mess the system up. Let's just gender swap everyone. What was the need? What was the need? There was no need. It's so stupid. So stupid. Okay, so that's all the characters on. Didn't like most of that, but I'll bring it back to something I did enjoy and wish the film was more like. Is probably the first 10 minutes. Like, the first 10 to 12 minutes was actually pretty solid. It kept you pretty engaged, and it sort of put you into the story as opposed to backtracking on a story. I will say they marketed this film so badly. This was nothing like the film they marketed. It was obviously heavy feminist, and that's fine, you know, absolutely fine. But it was not smack your face in it feminist all the time. It was political, and that's fine as well. But it wasn't smack your face in it political all the time. Like, I don't know what they thought they were doing with this marketing. It was very polarizing, and it was nowhere near as bad as what they were touting it to be. They were saying, oh, it's a big feminist film. No, it was like a medium feminist film. Like, the point in this film wasn't feminism. There were points where I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like the cockpit joke. I was like, that's a terrible joke. I don't know if that's a real one, but it's terrible. Hala looked great. If you don't know, that's the Kree world. But unfortunately, we were barely on it. We didn't really get to explore it at all. It was basically just like a B-roll shot. There was nothing else in it. And I really wish we'd got more of that. Hala, not the B-roll of Hala. That wouldn't have been good. And in terms of story, I really didn't enjoy this film. Not because, oh, it was a refugee story, it was about immigration, all these things. No, nothing to do with that. It's to do with the Skrulls. The Skrulls are not good. But in this film, they basically made the Skrulls good. The Skrulls are evil sons of bitches, alright? They are just as bad as the Kree. But in this film, it's like, no, the Skrulls are subjugated. They've been attacked. They're belittled. It's like, no, these guys can rip your head off. Like, they're a super Skrulls for a reason. Because of what they've done here in this film, they are not going to do Super Skrulls ever. And Super Skrulls is basically the entire Secret Invasion storyline. It's fucking great. So why would you cut that off by doing this film and making the Skrulls not bad? It's stupid. Why do it? Skrulls are bad. Kree are bad. Humans. We don't know. Yes. And the real problem with Captain Marvel is, in this film, they tried to bring her down to Earth by literally bringing her down to Earth. It's crazy. They basically, I think they took a bit of a leaf out of Thor's book here when Odin literally sent him down. Yeah, they tried to bring her down to Earth here and make her more human because she'd obviously lost her memories, all that type of stuff. I thought we were all done with the memory loss stuff. Apparently not. So the issue is, she doesn't have a character. She doesn't. She was told by Monica, or was it Maria Rambeau? I don't know. It's one of the names. That she's great. She was amazing. She's incredible before she left. It's not like she was a shit person before she basically went off to Hala. She was amazing before she left, and then she was just even more amazing when she came back because she had all these powers. There was no characterization of her at all. You know, everything that was said about her was she is the best, she is great, she is amazing. That's a shit character if I've ever heard one. Unless the point is that character isn't as good as they say they are, and that's for comedic effect. Or the person is an outright prick. But they don't play it either of those ways. And if you had played it one of those ways, it might have actually come off better. But here it just came off bland and boring. Because her strife, her struggle, the way she answers it is just by getting more powerful. She just powers up. She taps into her inner power and is able to blast even higher and further and faster, baby. That's the whole thing. That's the gist of the whole film. You can't say that about Thor. You can't say that about Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye. But with all these other characters, you really can't do that. But with her, you're just like, yeah, sure. You just tap into the power and you're stronger than ever. Just fuck off. You're not making an exciting, enjoyable character. Regardless of male or female. It's one of the reasons why I don't really love the Hulk, because he just becomes more powerful. But on the other side of that, you have the Banner, which is his yin and yang. That's the whole point with the Hulk. It makes him a fun character to watch and enjoy and read. But with this, there's no counterbalance there. There's none of it. The cat, the Fluckus or whatever it was, I mean, sure, you've just chopped something into the MCU there, which I think is... I don't know what you've done with this film. There are so many retcons here. One, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. is called S.H.I.E.L.D. in the 1980s or the 1990s, but when Phil Coulson goes in Iron Man 1, it's like, oh, we're called the Strategic Homeland Intervention Logistics Division Engagement. Fuck off, alright? They change the name all the time in the comics. They just called S.H.I.E.L.D. in this film, where when it was Pepper Potts, you basically called them S.H.I.E.L.D. It was weird. It just destroyed that entire film. Not that entire film, but it destroyed S.H.I.E.L.D. in a way. Nick Fury losing his eye as well. Like, fuck right off. Like, just stop. You could have just left it to mystery. You could have just done that. You don't need to show us everything. Why? Why did you do it? You made the cat make him lose his eye. As soon as the cat was in this film, I was like, she's a cat lady. The cat's going to scratch his eye out and he's going to lose his eye to the cat. And he lost his eye to the cat. It just devalued his character. In an instant, like right there. That was all that was needed. They just destroyed his character straight away. All this stuff in the Winter Soldier about you have to keep two eyes open. And he'd be like, the last time I trusted someone, I lost my eye. And it's like, what? You trusted a cat and the cat made you lose your eye? Are you taking the piss? Shut up, you tart! It didn't happen! You idiots! Ah! Ah! If you can't tell, I'm pissed off! They sort of recovered at the end when they gave him like a box of eyes and he was like, oh yeah, I can't confirm or deny. It sort of sets up his character to being very mysterious and that type of stuff. So, okay, fine. But then, the last part of the film, he sees a picture of Carol Danvers in a fucking plane. Do you know what happens? He looks at what her code name is. Carol whatever Avengers Danvers. They just fucking made it all about her. I'm not having it. What? Look. This film was not bad. It just wasn't good. But when you do stuff like that, you know, it's like a punch in the face. It's like, you didn't need to do that. That, as far as I'm aware, that is not in the comics at all. Nowhere. Nada. It's nothing to do with historical relevance in the comics. You just shoehorn that in there to be like, she was the starting point of everything. She was everything. Oh, sorry, Captain America who started S.H.I.E.L.D. for all intensive purposes. No, not him. She's got the Avengers. She had the grit between her teeth to do it. So she could barely fly. They weren't even allowed to fly. Why was she called the Avenger? Don't do stupid shit. It was not terrible. And because of that, I would give it a floundering, flat 5 out of 10. I think I'm being fair there. Okay, I'm calming down. I think I'm being fair. It's definitely one of my least favourite MCU films. Just fact. I think that the only films for me that are worse than it are maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really didn't enjoy that film. I thought it was absolutely god-awful. And maybe Iron Man 2. That was enjoyable, though. The Incredible Hulk, it had parts to it that were good. Maybe this is my second least favourite film. I don't know. Just give us a Black Widow film, and then I think everyone will just be happy. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then fucking Captain Marvel will come after you. She will Mary Sue the shit out of you. That means she will fuck shit up, basically. And you don't want that, you really know, so just subscribe anyway to avoid that. Now, I've been the original comment. You've been great. I'll see you next time. Skadoosh.